language that changes. One is a shoe. Some other people call it a shoe. Some people call it a legba. In Ghana we say legba. We don't even say a legba. But in Yoruba, some parts they say a legba. And then the people in the diaspora, especially people in Southern America, they call it, instead of saying a legba, because they can't pronounce the word ba. They say gua. They say a legua. But then the pronunciation is ba, which is difficult to pronounce, so you hear them saying elegua, which is okay, it's the same thing.
My first time of watching you live, and we're glad to pose some questions.
Thank you, go ahead, Nene.
What is the best posture for libations to our ancestors and deities? Do we stand, bend down, or squat?
It is up to you, whichever makes you comfortable. Because if I tell you to squat, and if your waist is not strong and your knees are not strong and you can't squat, that means you can't pray to your ancestors. And if I tell you that you only have to stand up before you pour drink to your ancestors, what about if you are someone who cannot stand? And you can't pour a libation for your ancestors. So whichever posture is comfortable for you is what you use.
Question number 2 from Nene.
Okay, go ahead.
Most times we are questioning not to allow women in their menses to touch spiritual protection items. Why is it so, and what are the remedies for purification?
Yeah, in our culture it is believed. In our culture, it is believed that when a woman is in her menstrual cycle, is the most strongest period of their life. And also at the same time is the period that they are going through a cleansing of their body. And because it is regarded that they are cleansing themselves, they are supposed not to approach spiritual things, even sometimes their own spiritual things, because they can neutralize the energy. Women are very powerful people by nature. A lot of people don't know. Women are very powerful by nature. So in their monthly cycle, they are the most period. That period is their most dangerous period, and our people thought and believe that if during that time, and if during that time they touch any spiritual thing, they may neutralize the energy that is in the force. Don't forget that every spiritual every spiritual item, whether it is a voodoo or it's a talisman or whatever it is, things were collected from nature. Herbs and other things were put together to form that energy before the energy is expressing itself. So when a lady or a woman is in her menstrual cycle, which is their most potent and highest period, it is advisable that if they touch any of your things, the possibility is they will neutralize the energy in it. That's why it is advisable that they shouldn't. And even there are so many shrines around the world, not only in Africa. I think the biggest or the most famous is the Indian one, which has been for hundreds, and women of the menstrual age are not allowed, because the spirit that is there, the voodoo that lives there, will be neutralized. So men have strongly protected it. In our culture also, you should also understand that during the times of wars in our ethnic wars that had happened, women use what we call the menstrual cloth, a traditional menstrual cloth that is very special, especially when it comes to the Ewe people, that women wear only during menstrual periods. And it is not like today's tampons that are disposable. There are things that a woman wears, and when the time is over, they wash it, and then they dry it, and then they keep it until the next cycle. During warfare, in our society or in our ethnic warfare, that particular menstrual cloth is what women use either to burn their head or ban the pledachi, something that they use in cooking food for the family. They bind that thing on it and they lead the war. So sometimes people don't know what power women have. So women will lead the war. Men will be holding gun and everything behind the woman, but the woman will be in the war front with that thing. And that is to neutralize the energies of the enemy. Those who are facing us, their energies will be neutralized by that menstrual cloth, which we call in Ewe Godoche. Godoche in Ewe. It's a very powerful thing. So when a woman is in her menstrual cycle and touch something that is very important for you spiritually, what you have to do is that you have to fumigate in order to cleanse that energy that comes, or you will have to re-empower what was given to you, because the lady in her menstrual period touching some of those things may neutralize it, and it may not have the same potency that it has when it was made for you. So it is advisable that from time to time you fumigate, and then, because you may not know who touched what, and you may always not know who who is in their menstrual cycle. So from time to time you fumigate and then cleanse your spiritual things as well. Thank you.
Question number 3.
From Nene. Okay.
What are the preparations before one visits Bokor for consultations and reading?
There are so many Bokors in the world. We at African Magic Temple are not the only Bokors. Every Bokor or a traditional spiritual priest have their rules and regulations, that things that they do. We cannot tell what is the preparation that you have to do before visiting them, because we don't know everybody and visit. There are no laid down rules that if you are going to visit a Bokor, this is how you come. Of course, there are some basic rules in the past that you have to bring a corn flour and bring some money and some drink and all this thing to the Bokor. But those days are gone. It is no more that. Most of the Bokors today have to send their children to school. They have to feed their families. They need to do everything like anybody else is doing. People should not expect Bokor that because Bokor is a traditional priest, he should be at the bottom and should do everything free just because he is called Bokor. Who will look after his children? The world we live in today, everybody cares about their own. So for each and every Bokor, they have their own rules and regulations. At African Magic Temple, when you want to visit African Magic Temple for consultation and reading, if you are living in outside of Ghana, our base, you give us $150 US for us to do reading and consultation for you. But if you are living in Ghana, here, where you will have to drive or take transportation from wherever you are to come to us, you will give us 400 Ghana cedis plus two bottles of beef eater dry gin. The beef eater dry gin is it depends on where you are getting it from. Some places it's 775 Ghana cedis, some places it's 80 cedis, some places it's 100 cedis. So when you bring 2 bottles of, let's say beef eater dry gin is 75 cedis. So 2 bottles of beef eater dry gin will give you 150 Ghana cedis, plus the 400 Ghana cedis should give you a total of 550 Ghana cedis, and it is not far from the $150 US that we are charging. It's only $20 or $10 about, because $10 will be about $25 different from people who are even paying from outside. So that's how it is from here. Thank you very much,
Ninote. Sorry. Hello, family.
Hello, Ninote. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Said, Daddy, please, is it possible to meet someone spiritually?
How? I don't understand. I don't understand the question. How do you mean meeting somebody spiritually? In which way? How do you meet people spiritually? You have to elaborate and let me understand that question. Then, if I can answer it, I will tell you.
Okay. Ru Missouri.
Ru Missouri.
Ru.
Ru.
R-O-H-O.
Ruhu. Yes.
Missouri. It says, is Sapate the one to call upon for diseases?
Not every disease. Sapate has the kind of diseases that it also works on. Sapate as a voodoo or spirit is directly connected with chicken pox and smallpox diseases. That's what I am aware of. It is not every disease in the world that Sapate is connected to. But then there is possibility that you can use Sapate to counteract a lot of diseases because it is believed in our culture, and the name of Sapate in our culture is Anibato, the owner of the earth. So every other spirit, every other virus, every other bacteria that is roaming on the earth is controlled or is under the care of Sapata. So it could be used in other diseases and other situations. But what I know, our people usually do when chicken pox or smallpox attack people. In the olden days in Africa, we didn't have anything called vaccine. So what people do is that they will do, once they know what the disease is, and they will trace it to whichever energy is in charge of that disease, and then they do the rituals to the energy, and then they neutralize the effect of the attack. So Sapata, when people had chicken pox and smallpoxes in the past, people would do rituals for Sapata. Sapata is the same thing, that is the same energy that is called Babalu Aye in Yoruba, and Ewe we call it Anibato. So Anibato means the owner of the land, so the owner of the earth. So there is high possibility that Sapata can also be consulted, but everything that you do, first do consultation and make sure you are on the right path before attacking whatever you want to attack.
Martin Kobler.
Yes, Tommy.
Can one mix charcoal and salt in African
Yo, hello.
shower or bath?
Hello.
No,
Working.
You are not
Working.
supposed to
Good.
add them to the
Alright.
soap and
Looks like
gel. I've never tried that because at the end of it, okay, if you make them into a powder and pound it together with the soap, there is possible, but when you put the salt, it will not make foam. You should understand. Now, when you add salt to soap or soda, potash, it will not foam anymore. So putting it, the salt and the charcoal in the soap may not make the soap foamy. And if the soap is not foaming, it is very difficult to cleanse you.
Michelle Hood. Thank you for time and wisdom. I was so happy to find you. How often do you have interns come to your temple? I feel like I was born to be a traditional spiritualist.
Michelle, we have interns any time of the year. If you are interested in becoming an intern at our shrine, please contact ReVodution. They are the educational arm of the African Magic Temple. They will discuss all that with you, and then they will tell you when is the best time for you to come. We are always open to teach anyone who is ready to learn.
Malinda Kafui Brown. Daddy, I love your humbleness and how you explain everything.
Thank you,
Our
Kafi.
God bless you.
Thank you, Kafi. Thank you very much.
Sarah Mkojo Achu. Good afternoon, Togbe.
Achu Leke Nifwa. It's been a long time.
how can one tell if he or she has been reincarnated?
You can only know when you are whether you are being reincarnated or everybody has one way or the other been reincarnated. But for you to be able to be sure whether you are a reincarnation of some particular person, then you will have to do a reading through by Afa or Ifa to find out who you are. If you are a reincarnated person of some particular person, Afa should be able to tell you and then tell you what to do.
Yanifa, greetings, Baba, from Germany.
Thank you, Yanifa. How are you? It's been a while. Hope you are fine. Please take care of yourself and as much as possible, keep yourself clean and don't open yourself to everybody just because you want to save lives. But protect yourself first, because it is only a person who is healthy that can help other people to be healthy. If you fall sick, you will be useless to yourself and to everybody. So take care of yourself, and thank you very much for joining us at this moment.
How does Ewe Vodu see the COVID-19 epidemic? That's Yanifa from Germany.
That was what I was trying to explain, that mankind has deviated from our path, and we have entered onto the path of the viruses and bacteria and whatever. Everything has its path and its rules and in nature. The name corona, as I heard, is a crown, which is in Spanish or Italian corona, a crown. Why is this particular virus called coronavirus? Americans are calling it COVID-19. That is one thing. But why is it called corona? I listened to some doctors who had also visited my shrine. Because the corona is a crown. So this particular virus called corona, because it wears a crown in its formation, that's why they are calling it corona. So you can imagine, you can understand that the virus is a king. It's not just a baby virus, it's wearing a crown. So that's why the word corona. So why is it the first time this particular virus had been in the world, or it had been in the world long before? And we also learned that human beings have acquired it from animals, like the bat and then the pangolin. Those are the information that we are getting. So pangolin had always been around us. And in our local area in Ewe land, we call it luhui. Luhui is a very tasty animal. It's a very tasty bushmeat. But what happened is that the pangolin is on its own, and you start to eat it fresh without cooking it. You will pick up some of its viruses. So human beings have deviated from their path, and they have entered onto the path of the virus. The virus had always been on the pangolin, and people had been eating pangolin long time before Jesus Christ of Nazareth was born. But it did not disturb them. But somehow, maybe people are abusing nature. We have taken everything for granted, and we think that we are the superior beings and we are the only ones who could live on this planet. And then we do things without looking back. When we talk about climate change, some people say there is nothing like that. It is a hoax. When we talk about this, they say no, this is a superstition. When you talk about the taboos and everything, they say oh, it's a superstition. So human being or humankind has deviated from their path and has entered into the path of other entities that are sharing this earth with us. And if they feel threatened, they will kill us.
After you, Richard, but the tasty bushmeat.
I know it. I have eaten before. I have eaten when I was young. So I know. It's very tasty. Make palm soup with it.
Fatai Rashid, can you tell me something about myself right now by just giving you my name? If yes,
But I don't do those kind of things. That's not the kind of a spiritualist I am. I'm a very serious type of spiritualist. I'm not here to see you say, hey, I see something around you. Hey, this is no. Please, if you want to consult me, come to my shrine and consult me. I'm not a roadside traditional priest whereby I just see you or tell you anything about yourself. I don't do that. I'm sorry.
Patricia Bon Efia Sariwa says, thank you so much, Papa, for the answer.
Thank you, Efia. Try to come, but be using the charcoal and salt as much as possible, and also make sure you have your hand sanitizers with you. Drink a lot of water. Don't let your throat dry, because the advice that we are being given is that when your throat is too dry, the virus can now stick to some part and then travel into your esophagus and then enter into your lungs. So what you should do is that from time to time you should be drinking water, so that in case the virus even enters into your throat, you can wash it down into your stomach where there is acid. We at African Magic Temple, and that is only we here, we have prepared black powders that we are taking from time to time, so that it is very acidic in such a way that if any virus, I'm not talking about coronavirus as a virus, but it's